ILWeber Grills and Great Chefs Productions present Grill Out Chicago, featuring grilling tips and recipes from 5 of the city's finest chefs, including Jean Joho of Brasserie Joe, Sarah Stegner of the Ritz-Carlton Four Seasons Hotel, Stephen Chipotle of Mango, Rick Bayless of Frontera Grill, and from the Weber Grill restaurant, Randall Wadener. Catfish steaks marinated in and served with a Chipotle-Avocado salsa.
Grilled catfish with a Chipotle-Avocado salsa. Sounds like the perfect dish for a summer afternoon for sure, but I think it's a great dish to serve any time of year. Catfish is something that you can get year-round, and so it makes a perfect selection for grilling any time that you want to, but you got to have a good salsa to go with it. And it'll remind you, even if it's not summertime, it'll remind you of summertime. We're starting our Chipotle salsa that's made with these smoky little hot peppers. We're going to start it with roasted garlic and roasted tomatillos. So they've got little dark spots. You don't want the spots to be hard at all. You just want them to be, that's going to give a very nice roasty flavor, and the flesh should be very soft and sweet. That's what it'll give to this dish. We're going to put those in the food processor along with some tomatillos. Now, tomatillos are the little green husk tomatoes. You find them in most grocery stores. You peel the papery husk off of them, then put them on a baking sheet under a broiler about 6 minutes per side, and they'll be softened. They'll be darkened in spots. Again, you don't want to burn them. You just want to darken them, and their sweetness will come out that will pair beautifully with the tanginess that they always have. You can find those in a can as well, which works fine for this dish, but you won't have quite that nice roasty sweetness. Let's make a coarse puree out of those by kind of pulsing them in the food processor. You could use a blender if that's more convenient for you. When you get them coarsely pureed, I'm looking in there to see if we've got something that looks like we could spoon it out onto something. And at that point, we'll talk about the Chipotle chilies. Now, these are jalapenos that have been dried over a smoky fire, and I've got the ones that are in a can, packed. What it'll say on the side of the can is in adobo. They come in a vinegary tomato sauce. Let's put 3 or 4 of them out there. That one isn't very complete. And I'm going to chop them up roughly. I'm not taking the seeds out of them. If you want to take the seeds out of them, you can do that. I like the texture that the seeds add. They're not going to add any more heat. That's an old wives' tale. So we're going to coarsely chop them. Actually, we're going to chop them a little more than coarsely. The food processor here, I like this knife that's got a wide blade so I can use it to scoop things up and just pulse a couple of times to mix it all together.
The mixture is combined with diced avocado.
Into the bowl where we're going to finish our salsa will go our puree of tomatillos with garlic and the diced up, smoky, dried jalapenos called Chipotle chilies. Move that in. Boy, doesn't that look good. You see the roastiness of it is all coming through beautifully in that, the little dark flecks, and stir it up. We're going to season it with salt and add just a little bit of water to it. And we'll be ready to use this for marinating and serving our fillets. In a little bit of water just to get it a nice consistency, and sprinkle in a little bit of salt. And we're ready to go now to our catfish steaks.
Some of the salsa goes into oil.
The remainder of our salsa will go there. And let's spoon it over. You can see I've got some center cut catfish steaks. These are just delicious. They have a very nice light flavor to them, and you can always get them. This will be our seasoning to go over the top. And at this point, let's do them on both sides to make sure that we've got good flavor all over them. And at this point, you'll want to cover them with some plastic wrap and put them in the refrigerator and let all those flavors mingle and the catfish steaks to pick up a delicious tomatillo chipotle seasoning. One of my very favorite pieces of grilling equipment is the cast iron grate insert for these grills. We've got underneath, all of the coals have been pulled together in those baskets, and they're very hot, just right for searing. I always take a little oil to the grates. These cast iron grates do very, very well if you keep them nicely seasoned with a little oil. And the grates are ready, I believe, at this point for laying on the catfish steaks. So let's sear them. Boy, that's a beautiful sound, and I actually like the smell of it all more than anything else. Reminds me of good times. And we're going to sear them with the top of the kettle open. When they're seared well on one side, we'll flip them over and sear them on the other side and finish the cooking with the top of the kettle closed. I really learned something here. I've never used those baskets underneath the grate before. That works really good. I'm always going to do that from now on. Because usually this is about the quantity that I'm doing, and that keeps it all together. I really like that a lot, because that's always one of my struggles, is that you can't get enough of a tight fire. When you guys came out with this cast iron grate is when I bought one of these things, because I love cooking on cast iron grates, and so I saw when you guys came out with it right away, I went down and got one of these grills. I'm just going to cover it all up. The last one of them is coming off the grill. You can always tell when these little catfish steaks are done by touching them very gently. They'll be hot, but you touch them very gently right next to the bone. And if the flesh will flake off of the bone or feels like it's loose from the bone, then they're ready to come off the grill. But this is a lovely kind of fish to grill because it doesn't dry out. That's my favorite part of it, that and its flavor too. You can see what our platter looks like here. I like to decorate it with lots of sprigs of fresh cilantro. They're delicious. Eaten right along with the grilled catfish steaks. Spoon some of that salsa over it, and you're ready for quite a feast. I've got some hungry folks here that would like to just dig right into this platter, as would I. I hope you enjoy these grilled catfish steaks as much as I do.